day. Thank you for all the support that you've given us over the years, especially to the Florida chapter. Have a great day.
Hi, Sharon. Hey, it's Patty Taylor. I just wanted to say I admire your career as Mission President and a fellow as well. You're an inspiration to us all. I hope you have a great birthday and a blessed year. Happy birthday.
Hey, Miss Golden, I just want to wish you a happy birthday, and I pray that you have many more. And I want to thank you for everything you've done for us in the chapter of Florida and the field of sterile processing. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
Miss Sharon Green Golden, this is Jason Williams from Birmingham, Alabama. Today is a very, very special day. Today is a day that we celebrate you, and I personally want to wish you a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Miss Golden. Sam Brown, state of Florida.
I just wanted to take a minute to wish a dear friend of mine a very happy birthday. This goes out to you, Miss Sharon Green Golden. You're truly a legacy. Enjoy your day. Be blessed. Many more to come. Aloha, Arlene Bush, Florida.
Howdy, hello campers. How you doing today? My name is Sharon with UCDI Leadership and Do Something Daily LLC. And today we're doing more of our dedications in December where we actually celebrate people who may or may not celebrate themselves, but we're just looking at things to let you know things are possible. And sometimes we often look at achievements people make and we're like, oh, that's what they did. And it's way off in the ether or the far, but there are things that go on every day, day in and day out. And so we are actually going to ask some individuals some questions today about things that they had to overcome internally and externally, some of their drivers as in the why of it, and just let them know that we appreciate the influence, not only in their circle, but also in the community and things beyond. And so we do have Karen Reese with us today, a filmmaker, director, and a business owner who was able to just step outside the comfort zone and do things. Also, a very avid community individual, a DeSoto fan. We have Karen Cherry, which most of you guys know in the sterile processing world. Karen has more than just Sips Consults as a business, so we'll ask her some questions there. I know right now there's something in the works as the Cherry Project, and maybe she'll speak on that today. If not, there are other businesses she has, real estate, commercial real estate. Don't get nervous, Karen Cherry. We're just going to ask you some of those questions about the impact in the community and the influence there. And we have Brian Reynolds. You guys know Brian Reynolds, who is going to work in front of the scenes and behind the scenes to enhance what thousands and thousands of people in sterile processing, but to enhance it and make it better. And again, sometimes we see things in the front, but we don't see things in the back that are day in and day out. And so LaWayne and I are just going to ask these individuals some questions today, and I'm ready for it. Y'all see Sharon Green Golden's picture up there in the corner. It's because her birthday was yesterday. And we just want to say happy birthday, Sharon. Thank you for all that you do. All that you do, especially during the year 2020 with all the foolishness and the non-foolishness with masks and single use and COVID and what about this and what about that. So without further ado, let's bring LaWayne in here so we can get into some questions. How's everybody doing today?
Doing great. Thanks.
Good, good. So let's jump in. Karen, Karen Reese. I'll say full names. Karen Reese, you're a first time guest on the show. And I know oh, you look a little frozen. So let me
I was going in and out.
Okay. The first thing I want to ask you, Karen Reese, as a first time guest on the show is what moved you to do like I think the first documentary you did was Path to the Draft, but what made you want
Hey,
to
Sharon, if I'm going in and out, if it's me, I can log out and come back in because it's
okay, then can you guys hear me, the rest of you?
Yeah.
Okay, Karen Reese, log out and come back in. Then good, I'll go right on to Karen Cherry.
Okay.
Karen Cherry.
Yes, ma'am.
What made you want to give back to your hometown, Tulsa, Oklahoma?
Interesting question. So the giving back part is easy because I felt like I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't have so many people that sowed seeds into me. The Tulsa piece of it, it was a challenge as far as moving up any kind of ladder in Tulsa, and it could be being born in the 50s. However, I know that many people that I met in Tulsa, that I was a leader over in Tulsa, have the same challenges that I had. And we're talking about all these years later. And so being able to, having left Oklahoma and being blessed, fortunate, like I said, to meet people and to be able to maneuver up a ladder, I wanted to do the same for those that were a little less fortunate in having some of the same opportunities that I had. So that's why I want to pour into Tulsa, pour back into Tulsa.
Can I have a follow-up there, Sharon?
Yes.
Karen, on a previous conversation you and I had, I would say to you that you're a descendant or a prodigy of Black Wall Street. How does coming from that spot in history, how did that impact you growing up?
It didn't impact me growing up because I didn't even know about Black Wall Street. I didn't even know about the rich history until I was probably 40. And, and then once I did, it made sense to me, a lot of the obstacles, I guess, if you will, that I went through. And so being able to be on the other side where I don't need permission, if you will, to purchase something. I don't need permission to give someone an opportunity for a job. I feel wonderful. And I feel that timing is everything. And I feel like now is the time to help others shine. So, like I said, I feel like I'm in a great place and grateful place.
Awesome.
Excellent. Brian, as someone who is now the president of Isham, but you're also very involved in local chapters and boards there. What made you want to give back?
I'm gonna piggyback off of what Miss Cherry just said. I mean, there was a lot of people that I had that were mentors to me throughout this process that, they didn't have to say, hey, I don't want you to make this mistake. They could have stood back and just let me make mistakes or let me fall flat on my face. I mean, they poured into me, and I honestly am grateful for that. So I try to do the same thing when I meet people, especially if you see the passion for them or something that they really, really want to do. It's great to try to help them, maneuver some of these things. That their brick wall is up there. So if I can help you avoid those 50 paces and hitting that brick wall, then I feel privileged with doing so. And I learned a long time ago when my father passed, you never know who's watching what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to carry myself in that manner, and I try to pour into other people because you never know.
Right. That's good, Brian.
It's good. Hey, Karen Reese, it's good to see you back with us. And so what I've asked is, like, what made people want to do things that would impact their community? And so coming back to you, Karen Reese, what made you, even with Path to the Draft, like what made you want to do that? Oh, you
What?
can't. She can't hear me.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Well, it really just kind of started out with my own journey. I was about to be 50 years old and I had been doing the same thing. And I was just like, I want to do something different. And so for my 50th birthday, I was like, okay, I'm going to do a weight loss journey. I want to lose 50 pounds before I turn 50 years old. And so as I started doing that, God just began to just minister to me about the power of sharing your story. And so that's why I documented it. And so through that journey, I just see how, social media has us all spread it out. We're all in everybody else's business, but we don't know what's going on right in our backyard. And so from there, he just gave me, there is a power, and you don't know. You kind of think sometimes your story is so small, but you never know that story can impact someone else. And so that led me on that journey of my community. I love my community. I was driving down the street, and as I was on my weight loss journey, I saw a little girl. She was like overweight, and it just became overwhelming to me. Here I am, a grown woman battling with my weight, and here's this young girl, and just the impact of that. And so it just started me on this journey that you just never know what your story can change somebody else, and it may just be one person. And that's how I got on the journey of DeSoto, our community, and how important it is to bring it back in from looking at all what's going on all over in the world, bring it back in our own backyard, and support and promote where we live.
Love that.
I love that. And yay, 100% with that. Brian, did things you saw coming up, like in your community when you were coming up, do you carry that with you as well?
I mean, you do. It's something that you will always know, and I honestly feel like you learn from the mistakes that you make and the things that you do. Being here in Florida, you see a lot of different things. Things have changed and grown to a certain point, but some of the things remain the same. But it's your choice of whether you choose to sit and wallow in it or you choose to use it to do something different, and that's what I choose to do.
Excellent. LaWayne, are you back with us? Can you hear us, sir?
Loud and clear. And thanks for that. This wildfire is taking me for a loop. James Baldwin, one of my favorite writers, historians, and activists, he's credited with saying that the only way forward to gain wealth is to give back to the community. If you can share a story on one of your favorite moments during your journey of giving back, what would that be? Who wants to go first? I'm gonna choose one. I'm gonna go. Go ahead, Karen.
Okay, one of my story of giving back, my son played football, and I was, a parent being involved. And with football team here, we have only 300 football players, but we might have 40 parents. And so after my son graduated, I stayed on to help those parents. And I stayed on, 3 or 4 years after that. And I just saw how that was important as a parent and as a community person to stay back and help those who are behind you, because nobody came back and told us, what we needed to do as far as raising up an athlete. Sports is my heart. And so nobody ever came back to tell us. And so I thought that was so important to go back, where you came from. If you learned something, to go back to impart that in to someone else. And so that, I think that's important as far as, giving back to your community, what you experience.
That's powerful.
So LaWayne, I think, and probably because I left home at 18 and I've just been, here, there, and everywhere. So for me, when I look at community, it's just all the people in the different places, I guess, if you will, different states that I've met, my store processing journey. And so to be able to create over, I'm going to say the last count I had was 200, but to be able to create over 200 positions to give opportunities to people that weren't there, when I started out in store processing.
Oh, Karen, I think that number is way too low.
Well, I said last time I counted.
Yeah. You just consider, those 200 probably employ another, several hundred, which employ another several hundred. It's like that great oak that falls from the tree. Oh, that acorn's gonna grow other trees. Mr. Reynolds, what is one of your favorite stories about your community activism, or just giving back to your community?
The one that comes to mind, I think, was when, like I said, you just never know the people that you touch. I had left Florida for a while, and then when I came back, you just really don't think about the things that you do. And I had a particular employee that worked for me, and we had our moments, and it was a difficult time, and it was just difficult things. And just seeing that person surpass what I've done and where I am in this business, seeing that person grow and become a director was something that was just very self-fulfilling for me. But it was just a very proud moment, like that proud Papa Bear moment, to see that person grow and just become the man that he is today, and being able to take care of his family and accept responsibility. So, I saw that, but to hear him stand up and give that homage to me and said that it was because of the things that I did and because I fought with him and held him accountable for certain things. I mean, again, you just never know what you're doing in a person's life. And at that time, I didn't feel like I was giving back, but to see him go to that place, I think that, to me, that's my proudest moment. I really am grateful for that, because he didn't have to say that it was me, whether it was or wasn't, but he made it a point to make sure that everybody understood and knew that it was because of the things that I did for him that helped him get to that point.
I'd like to ask this question, because Karen, you'd mentioned the number there. Karen, Cherry, you'd mentioned the number, but I would just like to say, and this is putting you on the spot, and I want you to just think about it before you answer. Real time, how many people do you believe you have interacted with? Because those are the people that you influence. Happy birthday, Sharon Green Golden. Happy birthday yesterday. Happy birthday. So how many people, because I have a friend who's a therapist, and an associate who's a therapist. And I know personally she's touched like thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And a lot of times when people are doing something, we only think it's us and like this, just our little cup here, but we actually do. So if you had to say your ripple effect, you can either say the number of people that may be impacted by your ripple effect, or if that's just too much and you're like, I don't want to do it, I'll sound crazy, because, we've been groomed to do that. Then you can just say the number of states you believe your ripple impact has affected. And so would you guys like for me to share a commercial, or I want to jump right in?
No, before she answers, I want to say this. I am a product of one of her ripple effects. So I just wanted her to know that, because I met her many years ago. And I was invited to the Leadership Academy that you guys did in Dallas. And, over the years, we talked about things, and she was one of the people that poured into me and mentored to me as well. But I never knew her whole story. So being there and to hear her whole story and just the impact that it made on me to want to go do better things and try to, pull people forward, regardless of the situation. So I can say that I'm a product of that. So, okay.
Okay, but I want to know your ripple effect. I want to know your ripple effect, LaWayne, even though you asked questions. Yes. So Karen Cherry, Karen Reese, Brian Reynolds, whoever, just jump in there and let's talk about that. Because if we think about it, sometimes it gives us the strength to go, even if not on, but the strength maybe to dismiss some foolishness that's trying to block us from moving forward.
Yeah. And Sharon, is funny because with every opportunity in the path that God had set for me, every time I would say, this is just too much. This is just a thankless position, and on. It's like I would get a call from someone that I had mentored in the past, someone that I had, I guess managed, but then once they say where they are and what's happened because of, then I say mentored along the way. And so states, I've been to a lot of states. People, again, I would have to say probably at least that people that have reached out to me, I would say it would probably be a couple of hundred people that have said, this is what I'm doing and thank you because, and so, and then where Wayne said, well, you don't even realize because they're in leadership positions. And then the people that, one lady, I guess my biggest compliment, one of my employees that told me when I first got into leadership, we were peers, and she told me she hated me. And so I told her, I'm so sorry for you, because I said, your hate can't even penetrate through the love I have for me. So that's all she carrying on you. And she left the department. There were only a handful there were 6 African-American people actually in the department of 60. And she was African-American. She left the department because she said she was not going to report to me. And it must have been 10, 15 years later, I saw her at a Isham conference. And we had changed in our looks, over the years, but we kind of looked at each other as she was passing by my booth, and Karen, and I called her and I said her name, and she asked me if I could have lunch with her. And then she wanted to, and I did, and she wanted to tell me that she didn't understand at the time, but she was a manager, and she said my leadership style was the leadership style that she incorporated to help her to be able to, to be a manager. So I thought that was one of the biggest compliments anyone could ever give me.
So she no longer hated you.
She no longer hated me.
Okay. Brian? And that's what I'm saying, ripple effect too, because I don't want you to think like only direct.
No, mine was similar to Miss Cherry. I think it's a great thing to be able to stand in a room and have at least 4 of the people that you've mentored over the years to see where they are, and each of them in leadership. And at a conference that we did in Orlando, I was able to bring all 4 of them up on the same stage, and it was overwhelming. One of them, the one that I know that was gonna cry and do certain things, I told him before he got up there on the mic in front of everybody, don't get up here crying, because if you make me cry, I'm gonna push you down. And he did just that. He got up there and he started crying before I could even finish everything. But it was just, it was a very humbling experience to be able to have those 4 people stand on that stage and say thank you to me when I thought I wanted to give up. I just wanted to give up. I didn't want to do this no more. I had already made up in my mind that I wanted to change and go to a completely different field. And it was just a very humbling experience. And again, I say, you just never know whose lives you're touching with the things that you do. So carry yourself accordingly.
That's super valuable. And we simple. We invest in one person and they invest in many. So even to answer that question, you really don't know how many people. The number is countless. You really don't know how many people you have impacted just by a good word or you putting some efforts in. I remember one story with just a technician, really into, on my spare time, was in the gym a lot. And one of my coworkers, I was on the way to the gym. She had a lot of self-esteem concerns about herself. And I just was giving her an encouraging word. And years later, I met her in the airport. I didn't even recognize her because now she took a whole different lifestyle. But she said that conversation back in, 2003 was what sparked her charge. So you truly don't know how many people. I think the number is finite because we are not singularity people. No, we have so many different facets. And I think sometimes when we get on knowledge and nonsense, we only think about our professional aspect.
Yeah,
yeah, there's just so much more than your professional aspect. You've touched, each of you have touched many. Sharon, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say with Karen, that's why I said maybe even go to the States, because often when we do think of that, we think about just this right here or what I can see. But if we take a moment, you have to take that moment. It's imperative that we take that moment. And if we take that moment when we're overwhelmed, if we take that moment when we're underwhelmed, we can also take it when we're overwhelmed, and it allows us to kind of woosah. Hold on, Karen Cherry. I wanted to ask Karen Reese, what do you think, Karen Reese? Because I think in the filmmaking thing, you've been doing that like less than 5 years, and already From mayors to what I think professional coach. Like you went from documenting the weight loss to how many your ripple effect.
You know what? I don't know. I think I'm a baby in this area. And I really never looked at it like that. So I don't know.
I love it. I love the fact that all of y'all are like that. I love it. Okay, so Karen, what were you about to say? I love it because, again, when I ask questions, oftentimes I'm asking, and there's more than one reason for the question. Not for y'all, so y'all don't have to try to figure out, well, what does she mean? No, be you, but for our audience, I really want people to see, like, you can impact and influence. You have an ability to affect change. You know, it's not always the person you see on TV or something like that. Right where you live and your community, your family, your department, your workplace, you know, inside and outside of the workplace. And so that's why I ask those things, because it is a ripple effect. Children, nieces, nephews, cousins, like it's amazing. And I want you to know it's amazing how much damage you can do too if you loose with that thing. But it's amazing how you can build. And I'm a hush because I feel like everybody has something to say on top of that.
Yeah.
It's powerful. You know, I saw a quote that said, "Don't give to the homeless when only the camera's on." Now think about that. You know, we live in a time of social media, people doing things for likes, for memes. But the panel you see here, you can tell their humble spirit, and which is a sign of greatness, because everyone is hesitant to say how much they've impacted someone else, right? How much you would have access to a different type of personality. That one person would have became 100, 100 would have been 1,000, 1,000 would have became 1,000,000, right? But it just at the core, you know. My grandparents would always say, "Be careful who you're speaking to. You could be talking to an angel." Right.
Yeah.
So I through each of your works, you have touched many, right? And sometimes you're touching folks and don't know that you're touching them. You know, you're just being yourself. You're just being good old you, telling a joke, offering a cup of coffee, saying a kind word. So this is a powerful conversation, and I think it's at the core of community activism. You know, we need, you know, that one of the best ways to solve our own issues is to give, you know, in order to go forward. I want to know more about some of the films that Karen has done. Do we have time just to explore some of your work?
Yeah, you know what? Let's as she gets ready to explore, can I share? Maybe I would love to share something that's about a minute, about 2 minutes. Karen Reese, is that all right? I have to share my screen, but let's do that.
Great.
Yes.
So Sharon, while you're preparing that, you know what we were saying as far as my thought is always in my career, what I did for someone. And when you were saying states, and as LaWayne was talking, I thought about one time I was working in Seattle, Washington, and I went to a nail place to get my nails and manicure and pedicure. And that was I walked in and I looked at this beautiful young lady. She looked like she was from the islands. I mean, just beautiful, beautiful complexion, beautiful hair. But when I met eye to eye with her, she just looked so hollow. And I found myself just kind of looking over at her because I was thinking, this young lady is so beautiful on the outside, but she just looks like something, you know, she's just having an awful day. And when I got ready to leave, I told the people, I said, the young lady, and I said in the red top, I want to pay for whatever she's getting done. So they said she was getting this, that done. So I said, okay. And then I said, but don't say anything to her. But I was on my way out. And it was a beautiful day. And I was walking around just kind of window shopping. And I was getting ready to walk into a Walgreens before I went back to the condo I was staying in. And the young lady was walking out, and I looked and I looked away, and she stopped me, and I was like, oh, they said something to her. And she said, she starts crying, and she says, I just want to thank you. And so embarrassingly, I just kind of looked away again. And then she said that she was from the islands. Her family was so poor that she had to get on this ship to work. and she said that she was waiting for everybody to get off the ship. She was going to kill herself because she was so depressed. And then she said that she told God, if one person showed her an act of kindness, then she would not kill herself. And I mean, the hair stood on the back of my neck, and I just started crying. And one, I was just grateful for being obedient to God, because I felt like there was God that had me keep look at this, this girl, and you just don't know. We don't know what someone else is going through, and again, we don't know how. Where you said, Sharon, we could impact somebody in a positive way or a negative way. So I just encourage us, when that person is running through the airport and they bump you, don't curse at them, bless them, because they're rushing for a reason. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right. Okay. We'll stick to it. I want to try to bring up this path to the draft. If that's so, I'm trying to get it to come. It doesn't want to love on me right now. There we go. It will love on me. Karen.
Yes.
Well, I'm going back to Karen Reese is like, yes. Tell me some of the more, Karen, you just shared a rewarding story. Karen Reese, tell me some of the more rewarding parts of doing this documentary.
Wow.
Well, actually getting it done. I mean, when I started out, I was just like, okay, we're going to just get a camera and a couple interviews and just put it together. It's going to be fast, quick. And so someone was saying to me, no, it takes years to do documentary. And I was like, what? I didn't realize I was signing up to years of doing this. I just wanted to highlight what we were doing in our community through our athletes, because they were graduating college, even though they wanted to go into the draft. And so just to see it done, just to see all the time to put it in the footage, getting the footage, and it to come together to be this beautiful story about these different athletes and their struggles of trying to make it to the next level. So that right there was very overwhelming to finally see a product.
Okay, so I'm going to show a little bit of your product. And again, this is what I love to do. You saying to see it get done and to see these people. Oftentimes when we work in our spaces, we're so busy working on us, we're not able to see that. You said like to see the different athletes and see them on their journey. And that's how we affect people and how we impact and how we interact with people. I don't know. Let me show this, and then I'm going to let LaWayne ask some questions. Yay.
We got 7 guys from DeSoto that's going into the draft.
These guys, whether they're drafted or not drafted, they're going to sign and they're going to be with somebody 2 weeks from now.
There's a lot of guys that are coaching the NFL. I mean, these guys are top notch.
Okay.
Your test is every Sunday. However you prepare yourself to pass or fail that test is going to determine on how you approach that whole week leading up to the test.
DeSoto means to me family. DeSoto is a very tight community.
Reach our youth. We partnered up with the school in the athletic program because I think it's very valuable that these young athletes have a connection with the police.
DeSoto was in a battle with anybody else. I want you to sign me up on the front lines because I'm ready to fight for this place, man.
I love this, and I always tell folks it's a better place to work.
Being involved within the community and knowing that no matter where you go, you represent DeSoto at all times.
Here and all the nonprofits and the city governments, they all set a high standard.
DeSoto has one of the highest income levels
per capita than any community in the best Southwest region.
Been cutting hair in DeSoto for like the last 18 years. And since I got involved in Little League and kids, it's like God just really has just blessed me in my business, blessed me as a man.
DeSoto is very near and dear to my heart. I believe that the community is just one that's very tight-knit, family-oriented. I went to school with somebody's brother and sister, and that my sisters and brothers went to school with their siblings. It really just is a down-home community, and we watch out for each other.
Being able to watch those cats and watch them come up and do great things on the television, it's just, I want to be that guy one day. So it was always just making sure you're looking up to the right people.
I appreciate that we are a family. So,
That's nice.
Okay, so that started. Now we reached that, but we all started with like a camera, right? Just doing your workout journey,
right?
And so it's progressive, right? It's progressive.
It's
progressive. It's funny you tripping off seeing it. It's progressive, though, and so again, the questions that I ask is because I know that there had to be difficult moments in that too. You know, you're dealing with so many different people. Again, Karen, Brian, with the organization, you're dealing with so many different people to move something forward. So how do you overcome some of the more difficult things? First off, thank all of y'all. Lil Wayne's gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Thank all of y'all. You know what? Let's take back that difficult thing. Lil Wayne, you had some questions.
Yeah, a question I'm always interested to know is how did you get to this point? And think about this question in this context. If you can give a piece of advice to the younger you along your journey, what would that advice be? If you can look back, reach back, and whatever it is, don't eat that sandwich, don't marry that guy, don't whatever. If you can look back and mentor the younger you, what advice would you give the younger you? Karen Cherry?
Mine would be as I have a cousin that's always saying, joy comes in the morning. Don't give up. God doesn't place us anywhere that he's with my belief in faith that he's gonna leave me alone. So yeah, I have bruises on my knees. So I'd say just keep praying and joy will come in the morning.
Okay.
Keep praying, keep moving, because if you're praying, you're just kind of sitting there. Keep praying, keep moving. Joy's coming in the morning.
Keep praying and keep moving. Joy's coming in the morning. Got it. Powerful. Miss Karen Reese, how about you? You can speak to your younger self or mentor your younger self. What advice would you give her?
Well, I would say that I would have started at a younger age. I started this journey at 50 years old because I put off what I wanted to do and be in life. I put it off and invested it into my husband, my family, and didn't really realize what it is, who was I, my own identity. And so I think that my younger self will be able to explore who I was at that time, and just think if I would have started this 20 years ago, I would be on the Academy Awards and Oscar by now. That's what I'm saying. I'm speaking things into existence.
Exactly.
Okay. I feel that. I definitely feel that. Mr. Reynolds, if you can mentor your younger you, what would you tell yourself?
Conquer your fears by staying faithful.
Yeah.
Powerful. Now, Ms. Reese, that's interesting. You said that about later in life. So many powerful, especially in the world of art, found they were born great. I think you were born great, but they found their public fame later in life. I'm reading something here. J.K. Rowling from Harry Potter, 32, complete the Harry Potter series at 42. Samuel Jackson, Vera Wang, she didn't become famous till 40. Joy Brea, comedian on The View, she didn't get her go time, if you will, to the age of 54. So if 40 is the new 20, then you're just growing up. So you have plenty of road ahead. Plenty of road ahead.
That's good.
Sharon Combs, what if you can mentor, give some advice to your younger self? What would that be?
Can't hear her.
We can't hear you, Sharon.
Sorry about that. If I could give advice to my younger self, it would be go for it. Just do it. Like literally, UCDI, you can do it. Because I remember one time I was in my 20s and I was thinking about Will Smith and Queen Latifah because someone had offered me, Columbia had offered me a record deal when I was in Atlanta. And I didn't do it. I was like, I have all these other things I have to do. I can't do that. And I honestly, I didn't have a passion for it. But one day I looked at somebody on TV and I was like, you know what? They're not exempt from any other problems or any other things we got to do like any other people. They just did what Brian said. They stayed faithful. They still just did it, you know? And so that's what I would say. Like, there's always a million reasons not to do something.
Yeah. I say don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
That's right. We a short story. You heard of the film American Gangster that starred Denzel Washington?
Yeah.
So I was on a little acting bug. I said, I think I can do this. I don't know nothing about acting. Sheer gut. So I walked into an open casting call, and there was a role for a journalist in a courtroom, and you just had to put on the wear of the era, and so they gave me these polyester pants, right? And I put the pants on, and these pants were so tight, intense tight, Brian. I couldn't get my leg in, so I put them things on. It was like some spandex jeans. I said no. So growing up in the environment I grew up in, masculinity was taught that it's tough. You can't cry. You have to look tough, and that's what I took with me. I said, if I put these pants on, I gotta face my community, right? I gotta face my uncles. I would tell that younger you, fool, put them pants on, have the moment, and because the role was mine. So had the script, was in the room prepping, and the look at the lady's face, the casting agent's face, when I told her no, thank you, she was bewildered. She couldn't understand what was wrong, and I couldn't say this was too tight because they were a little tight, really tight. But it's the image. So I would tell myself, fool, put them pants on. This is what actors do, right? You get the character. So short story. I still kick myself, but here we are.
So let's ask that. So in doing what you do and you're hitting the communities, and again, thank you so much. That's why you're here, dedicated. We just want to dedicate some time to show different works of people who are doing stuff the day in and day out. Like long after this show is over, somebody's gonna be up early in the morning getting like Karen. Now I know you have the Can I Play Sports? Like I said, you've been Karen Reese. You've interviewed. You've had some stellar people on your show that you've come across, but that's what people see. So how do you forgive yourself? Because again, all of us are going to be up doing some type of work. How do you forgive yourself quicker now? When it seems like on the other side of life, we'd be like, oh man, I should have kept the pants on. Then like, oh, the pants, and then like you just like I can never get past the pants. But as an owner, as a professional, as somebody that impacts the community, you got to kind of get over stuff quicker. I learned that refereeing. How do you guys get past things like the failure or the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, or maybe, I missed that? Like, how do you move on past that and not let that be your everyday companion?
Well, for me, I am still learning that. And one thing that God spoke to me the other day is about enjoying the journey. And so I'm having to, take that step back and enjoy this walk of him leading me in these different places. And so I think that is one of the ways.
Okay.
I say for me, it's I've understood and realized it's only so many hours in a day, so many days in a week, and so the things that I couldn't get to, try to delegate things, even as far as financials. I remember one time with my bed and breakfast, it was like, okay, I got all these people.
Oh, Karen's frozen.
And then I was saying, what? Did I freeze?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
reach out to someone else and and help them with the opportunities of utilizing their property and whatever. So I've learned not to have any regrets. Just try to make the best choices I can for that day and let it go. If it's something that I need to, to follow up with someone, then I'll follow up. If it was a missed opportunity, then I used to say missed opportunity. Sometimes I say it wasn't my opportunity, and just keep it moving.
Brian, how do you let it go? How do you move past things that you feel like you coulda, shoulda, woulda?
I mean, I'm every day that I come home, I sit and I reflect on my life of what I could have done better or what I could improve upon. Because again, like Miss Karen Reese just said, it's a learning experience. Every day is a different day, and you learn daily. I mean, life has taught me some valuable things, but I promise you that at the end of the day, I always hold me accountable first before I blame anybody else for anything. What could I have done differently to affect something different or make a different change? So I just reflect daily. I mean, I try not to take it personal because at the end of the day, a lot of times when people are going through things, it's not about you.
Right.
Well,
hey, go ahead, Lorraine, because I was like, it's 46 minutes in.
I love this conversation. I like Karen, I don't necessarily hold regrets. I think everything happens for a reason, but I also learned to live in the now. We're so busy worried about then. And me, Sharon, you and I had this talk that then are on both sides of the spectrum. Then can be then ahead in the future, but then can also be way back then. So we're so consumed with then that we forget to live in the now. And by forgetting to live in the now, you're missing the temperature. You're missing that little birdie that's on your shoulder. That song. You didn't know that bird was on your shoulder singing you a song. You totally missed it.
Yeah.
So I think we have to get back into understanding, appreciating, and living in the now, because the now is where it's happening. The now is the only thing that you can truly impact immediately and change immediately. So my one takeaway for me would be, hey, we need to really live and appreciate the now.
Right.
Yeah. I think life is a gift. Like we're coming to the end of this, so I'm gonna ask the hot seat questions so that we can get the most out of this next 15 or so minutes. I do believe life is a gift, and I have these reminders that help me when I hold on to things too long. And they come in conversations with people. Someone to call me and be needing something from me and don't know that they're blessing me because they're actually reminding me that life is a gift. Life is a gift, My brother told me once before, he was like, hey, don't make a blessing a curse. And I was in my head like, how can you make a blessing a curse? He's my older brother. He's always trying to tell me something. But I understand exactly what he's saying. Like, the documentary is a blessing. The companies are a blessing. Being in a leadership position, president of Isham, being over where you are within that medical facility that you work at. Like those are all blessings. And based on how we look at it and how we think on it, we can make it a curse. We can come into agreement with just like the negative side. It's Monday, it's Wednesday. And before you know it, instead of speaking life to something, speaking it how you want it to be, now you've begun to tear it down. And so I remember him telling me that. And I just, life is it's a gift. It's a gift, man. It's a gift. It's a gift. And so, play with your gift. Look at your gift. Treasure your gift. Unwrap your gift. But it's a gift. Donnie said oh yes, Donnie, I was going to, thank you. It's okay to separate yourself from certain company. Some relationships are for the moment. Do we agree or disagree, and why?
I agree.
I'm learning.
Yeah. So Karen Reese, Google seasons, reasons, and a lifetime.
Seasons,
reasons, and a lifetime. Google that. That changed my life.
Oh, okay. Is that a book or a movie?
It's a poem, but it just talks about people coming into your life for a reason, and seasons, and a lifetime. So Donnie hit it on the head. And it just goes on and it tells about different situations. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. It is okay to separate yourself. It's not as easy as it is simple. I'll say that. Because sometimes you're emotionally connected, you're invested in the relationship professionally. You put so much work into it. You're like, I don't know if I want to just walk away. We're almost there, Then you have to battle, am I quitting too soon? So it's definitely more simple than it is easy, but it's still simple.
But it's also challenging when the company you keep is you. You know, where you bring an attitude or something that's on you. So it's hard to. Sometimes it's hard to shake you. You know, so sometimes you're your own. You're really your own worst enemy.
Yeah.
You know, you have the world at your fingertips, and you still worried about some damn tight pants, right? So sometimes it's you.
Yes, that's good. Sometimes when the company you keep is you, that'll boy. Wayne, what you dropping nuggets? My hands are heavy. I can't even hold that.
We'll get you about this later, right?
I know. I take it though.
But no, I'm glad we're doing this because this is when we do it on Saturday, we are coming out of the department and we're telling people like this is life, man. Say what you want to say, but these are the things that impact how you grow personally and professionally.
Right.
You know, how many people don't move forward because they're worried about what someone else or what it may look like or what someone may think. And them people aren't even thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. They over there worried about what somebody else thinking about them. And we're missing opportunities. And so for, you know, there are younger people, younger professionally and younger in age who are watching this right now. And I don't want them to wait until they're 50 or 60 to begin to build, to begin to impact their community.
Right.
Look at where we are right now, even as a country, man. Come on. We were at the precipice, and now we're at like, you know, we kind of almost like at a starting line again.
Yeah.
And there's so many people. Our communities are powerful. I love DeSoto. I was able to work with the football team there on the leadership thing through John Maxwell. I love DeSoto. I don't even live there. But just how they interact in the community. And so I'm gonna get off my soapbox, but yeah.
Take your shot. Whatever.
Man, take your shot.
Take your shot. Sometimes you only get one shot. One of my favorite, rappers, Eminem. He got a song "One Shot." What you gonna do with it? So listen, take your shot. Don't be afraid. Time. I truly believe time will heal all wounds.
Yeah.
Or most wounds. But take your shot. Don't we only got one. We got limited time. In the now and both ends, right? So take the shot.
Okay. I have a question. What is everyone we do have limited time. What is everyone currently working on now? If you guys want to share, what you're working on now, and maybe your why. Like again, why you're working on it. It's not always money. Like, anybody want to share what they're working on now?
Well, I am working on many things. Just that seed that God gave me about the power of sharing your story, He has begun to grow them. And so I am working on a sports talk show called Can We Talk Sports? I am I'm starting the second season of Path to the Draft 7 DeSoto U players because we had another 7 players that became eligible for the draft and 6 of them graduated college. I am starting a documentary called Greenwood Avenue Project based on Tulsa, the massacre in Tulsa. So I'm doing that. I have so many other things that God has given me to do, but those are just the 3.
Okay. And Can We Talk Sports is already on because I know you guys were talking about like the first female coach. Yeah. I saw something who is Earl Spence or somebody? He's a boxer.
Yeah, we interviewed his trainer. And we have Kyla Mary's mom is coming on next year. He was the number 1 draft pick last year. So I just thank God for the doors that He's opening and the power of the mom's voice. It's time to hear the mother's voice because that's a voice you didn't hear in sports. And so I thank God for that.
All right. Excellent. I want to point out here, she's doing that now, but it started with her turning that camera on when she was working out. Sometimes we're like, well, I can't do that. No, that's not even, that door ain't even open yet. You still got 3 other doors you have to walk through first. Be obedient. Karen Cherry, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, I was just Karen when she said Tulsa. So Tulsa being where I'm from, and then as you were saying, the Greenwood Massacre. So I'm excited about the Cherry Center. About a strip mall in North Tulsa, not far, from Greenwood, and right now having that renovated to be able to create jobs for the community, as well as office buildings for people that have businesses, to give them a place to be able to, do their thing. So, yeah,
Yeah.
excited about it. And is next year, 2021 being the 100th year for the master, being able to, that our goal is to open up, and do some community things for that 2020.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome. Well,
revitalization.
we need to link up because there's a lot of things going on next year. It's really big. There's a lot of people that's going into the community doing things, but this documentary that I'm doing is someone in the community that's doing it. So it's from the people for the people. It's the voices of the people.
Oh my God, that's what I call it. There you go. We do need to look up.
Yes.
Well, good. That's what I'm talking about. That's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about. Brian?
Well, as you guys know, we being a part of Isham right now, I'm working with them with their strategic planning. We're trying to get a lot of that stuff done and focused on. We're also in the process of trying to make sure that we bring two of the other panel members, baby, to fruition with the scrub ball. And then I'm also trying to do some things when it comes to mentoring. I have particular employees that are moving in different directions. One that's getting ready to go into leadership. So I'm really trying to make sure that that person is prepared and ready to be in that particular realm, because it's going to be a lot. So I'm trying to make sure that they're already focused and ready for the job that they're applying for. Because again, we pray for things, we want things, but sometimes we're not prepared for those things, that those blessings when God gives it to us. So I'm just trying to be a better mentor myself.
Luane.
It's so the cup runneth over. But I love it. One of the things I'm really happy about, looking forward to the rest of this year, is just bringing leaders to power. I know so many talented and influential people, but I know them where I may be a hindrance from them connecting to the other folks I know. So friends that are authors, friends that are filmmakers, friends that are financiers, I'm connecting them to help them promote each other's projects. So I'm really looking forward to this triplex of communication. There's so much talent in our circles, and it's rare that we even have to look outside of our circles to find a resource that we need. So I'm really excited just about some of the projects outside of work, outside of business that are coming to fruition. So really excited.
Oftentimes, one of the things with Knowledge and Nonsense, and again, this is Knowledge and Nonsense, we are enjoying celebrating people in the community. People have dedicated their time and their lives. And so we're dedicating December to them, but they've already dedicated their time, their life, their livelihood, their mental energy, emotions, everything. They've dedicated it to these areas. And so on Tuesdays, we're inside the department. On Saturdays, we're out of the department, but it still works with the people in the department. And so, Luane, you said like connecting different people. Even this today, the connection, you see the connections and how it happens.
I'm jealous. I'm not from Oklahoma. Karen DeSoto from Tulsa. Karen and Karen, they got, listen, don't come out with a movie or an event and I don't get an invite. We in Brooklyn, where I'm from, we flat tires. So flat tire. That's because you forgot to send that invite to. And I'm speaking for Brian too. Brian, I got you. We want some invites. We want to be involved. We want to learn more about the history from Tulsa, all of those wonderful prodigies, those descendants, all of the above.
Yeah. Yeah, roots run, man. Roots run. Just like trees and veins. So it's all right that you from Brooklyn. Brian, are you from where you from, Brian?
Florida.
Oh, he like Florida. Florida. Okay, Florida. All right, I was about to put you in Chicago. I apologize. That's where Isham is. My fault. I'm sorry. Yeah. So Donnie says, consider the full impact that waiting on others has on your overall accomplishments. What I like to do, since we're at an hour, Karen, I'm going to put the Can We Talk, the official trailer. I put the link in the chats. What I would like for you all to do, each person before we leave, is expound on what Donnie said as if you are speaking, Karen Cherry, as if you're speaking to, I will say, like your nieces or your nephews. Karen Reese, as if you are speaking to your community. Brian, as if you were speaking to another culture. That's gonna. So yeah, I threw you the curveball. Yes, I did. I don't feel bad about it at all. LaWayne, do you want to weigh in on this?
Sure. Why not?
All right. If you were speaking, to a different generation, LaWayne, like a different generation,
All right,
including the older generation, huh?
Let's talk to these millennials for a minute. I got something for these folks.
Okay. And so yeah, let's do that. And yeah, let's do that. And as you're saying it, I want you to encourage people how to invest and participate to make a more powerful community.
Okay.
The common unity. Everybody, I want you to say, like, share at least one thing that someone can do. Karen Reese. First thing, I think the first person you told me to communicate with was a superintendent of a school district. You may not even remember that. You were like, "Oh, you should do this and such," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And you was like, "Yeah," and then this with your program, put it here. So, what are ways? I want you guys to answer the question, and then give us some encouragement on how we can build, that we can invest in our communities and build a powerful community. I know I said a lot. LaWayne, make it plain for him.
Sure. Well, I look at when I speak to the millennials, right? These and I have 2 millennials in my household, so those to my children. The tools that they have available to them were not tools that their grandparents or foremothers and fathers had to their disposal. The use of internet, the use of high-speed camera, the use of rapid information, right? A push of a button, you can communicate with anyone around the world. So that's a power, that's a responsibility. One that they shouldn't have to wait for someone to say, "Hey, why don't you go make a YouTube channel instead of watching someone else's YouTube channel? Hey, why don't you step out and organize some like minds?" There are so many issues that young people can solve if they just get involved. So my message to them is use your tools. Don't wait and get involved. And you want to know how, just take a look outside. I have a neighbor, and then I'll pass the ball over. I have a neighbor where every morning she leaves a beautiful note for the community on a sign outside. Just words of encouragement. Now, she may not know if 100 people or one person's reading the note, but the fact that just like you took your time and energy to come on Knowledge and Nonsense today, you're giving back just in this one platform. You didn't wait. Sharon's hitting us with some hard questions. So my message to those millennials behind us is use your tools, don't wait, and be aggressive and assertive when trying to get to a goal.
I like it. Anyone? Who else is going?
I say with my nieces and nephews, because they see me where I am today. They didn't see my struggle. So with me, when they get the eyes get all big and they looking at material things, then they have to hear the story of how you get to those, those things, not staying up late watching television, not getting up at 10:30, 11 saying you're going on a job interview, but to dig in and find what it is that God gave you, that tool that God gave you, and to enhance that tool. And when as you move, that you're blessed to be a blessing. So as you get things along the way, you don't just keep it, you help someone else. And that's how we keep blessings going. And so those are the conversations I have with them. And then as far as within the community, vote. Don't sit back and say it's not my responsibility. They're going to do, what they're going to do anyway. So vote for not just the presidential election, but the different things that are going on in your community. Get involved in your community, because your voice is important.
That's good. Thank you for that. Yes, vote. Brian, Karen Reese.
You said if I was speaking to a different culture.
I gave you culture.
One of the things that I would say is this: never be afraid to just ask questions and have those conversations. You know, we're all so wrapped up into what we've heard, and I tell my staff all the time, I don't want to hear that. I only believe 50% of what I hear and 50% of what I see. Make your own path, drive your own boat, drive your own car, and doing that means that sometimes you have to cross that line and have that question, because we don't always know. You know, in different cultures, it means different things. For us, like Luane said, with the pants, that's something in our culture that you just didn't do because you're going to be ridiculed and people are going to laugh and those types of things. But having that conversation, sometimes just being vulnerable enough to bear yourself will make a difference in somebody else's life.
Right. That's good.
I love that. I love that. And that's the only way we overcome some stereotypes. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Karen.
So you said mine is community. So I just think that, you know, with the world being so spread out, if we really come back, bring it back down and come back to our community, DeSoto, we take pride in our community. So we start impacting that and imparting that pride in our kids as they grow, the value of community, the value of appreciating people, the value of appreciating where you live, value of appreciating your accomplishment. When you go out, you take what was your foundation, and you go out and you impact another community wherever you end up living at. And so it's just a seed that is planted that continues to grow no matter wherever you go. And that just comes with love and loving people and, you know, all that good stuff.
Loving yourself.
I love that. I love that.
That's good.
I love that. That's really good. You mentioned seed in that. And so this is how I'll close that. I want to encourage everyone to be involved in your community. Be involved in your community. I know, like, we can be so caught up in talking about sterile processing and different things with COVID and all that, but still be involved in your community. What COVID has actually done is made people really get to kind of know their neighbors again. And so now you have this is a fresh opportunity for us to build and realign and reset and reorganize communities as we see fit, you know, instead of being like, man, I should have done it then. This is a perfect time. There's been a gap. We're coming back together. So be involved in your communities. Karen Reese, you mentioned seed. One thing about a seed is however you plant, that's what's going to recreate. So if you like, it's no use in it, I'm not voting such and such, then that's what you're going to recreate. You're going to recreate more division, more confusion, more the very thing you're fussing at now, more despair. You like, if it's no point, then there's no point in anything. What are you talking about? Stop that. So be aware of the seeds that you're planting into things, because seeds reproduce after their own kind. So we can do that in our community. We can plant financial literacy. We can plant, go ahead, listen, don't trip off them pants. Go seize your opportunity. You know, we can plant the like opportunities. Although there are opportunities every day, there are different levels of opportunities. And so we can plant different things so that we can see that in our community. And I'm excited that you all have done that you are doing it, that you're still continuing to do it. The fact that even though you could rest on your laurels and be like, this is what I've done or something like that, you're not doing that. You're not doing that. You're still continuing to give back and still continuing to move forward. And so I just want to say thank you for that. We're blessed to have you on the show today and to do that. Mr. Perkins, did you have anything before we? I think that's a no. All right. Do you guys have anything final? Any shout outs you want to give? Tell people how they can see you, find you, connect with you.
I just want to thank Knowledge and Nonsense for inviting me on. I think this might be my first interview of many, so I'm just excited, and I thank you for this opportunity.
Hey, no, thank you.
I'm gonna tell Donnie, thank you for putting the Cherry Center information in for putting what I was trying to say, for putting that in there. Also, you can find me on KarenCherry.me.
Yes. Mr. Reynolds?
First of all, you know, I always tell you every time you do this, thank you so much for giving us a platform to have these types of conversations. and giving us the opportunity to meet people. It was a pleasure meeting you, Miss Reese. And always, Miss Cherry, you already know, and Lawayne, I'll talk to you later. But I'm grateful, and I'm thankful that we have this type of platform to have these types of conversations. So thank you. It's greatly appreciated.
All right. Well, then I'm going to bring this to a close. I'm going to pull all of you out, say thank you so much. You can hang out if you want to hang out, but I'm going to show Karen Reese's URLs, and then I want to leave still just saying happy birthday to Miss Green Golden, who's one of our repeat guests. Karen Reese, you haven't met her yet, but she is a hoot. You love her. You love her. You love her to bits. You would. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and pull you out.
Thank you.
All right, if I can get Danny Payne up there.
Happy birthday, Sharon. I want to thank you for everything that you've done in our industry. You're an amazing role model and you're an inspiration for all of us. Please be safe. Take care.
Mama Green, this is your favorite son, James, wishing you a happy birthday. Enjoy.
Well, hello, Miss Sharon. I just wanted to say happy birthday and many, many more. Can't wait to see you in person one day. Bye now.
Somebody has a birthday coming up. Listen, her name is Sharon Green Golden. So I'm going to say happy birthday because I know you celebrate all month long. Love you.
Hi, Sharon. I want to say thank you for being the role model that you are, the mentor that you are. Thank you for being the one that reaches back and pulls others up. Thank you for going against the grain, for standing up for what you believe in, what you believe to be right. Thank you for being that voice that speaks when others are afraid to. Thank you for all of the wealth of knowledge you bring to our industry. Thank you for being my friend. And I want to wish you a happy, 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 happy birthday and many, many more.